backtesting, but from sports, previously for me, I was always used to reading plays. Like we had a playbook and you would read the plays. And so pattern recognition came naturally to me. So I never really did if the technical term for it was forward testing or back testing, because to me it was almost just recognizing patterns,
And how important do you think backtesting is?
Practice,
Yeah.
practice, practice, practice.
Because a lot of people
Practice,
don't
please practice.
backtest.
And that's why you're broke, because you don't practice. You know what I mean? Like that's why you're not succeeding, is because
Hi everyone, welcome to this ThinkCapital trader interview. We have Laurie here. Do you want to start with sharing us a bit about your background, how you found trading, when you found it, etc. Just an introduction to yourself.
yeah, sure. So my name's Larry and I've been trading for about 5 years now. And I started with a pretty stereotypical, that whole I Am Academy thing. And then after that, I took it a bit more seriously and had a mentor um that was within it, but it was performing relatively well on the trading end of things. He didn't really care too much about recruiting. And
Mm.
so I paid him like a couple $100 to just sort of show me just what he was doing. And so from there, I took a couple of nuggets, but then sort of realized it was basics, sort of just baby pips sort of information. And I
Mm.
needed to dive a little bit deeper to truly get anywhere. And that was just sort of the beginning of the journey from there.
Nice. You're very lucky to have a mentor in that company that actually knew how to trade.
Yeah, yeah,
Mine,
yeah. Thankfully,
mine,
yeah.
mine was very much focused on the recruiting side of things. But yeah, it's great. Yeah, that was great. Okay, so what do you think was your biggest challenge whenever you first started trading?
So the biggest challenge in the beginning was definitely coming to terms with the fact that patience was part of the process.
Mm.
I had to learn to be patient. Um, the fact that there wasn't always going to be a perfect setup, it took me forever to really come to terms with that, right? I would try to tell myself that every day I'm going to find an opportunity, and if I didn't find an opportunity every single day, I wasn't a good trader, right? I
Mm.
used to have this false belief about myself until I realized that patience pays more than anything, and so I feel like when I really finally understood that and accepted it, that's when things really started to turn around for me.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, because I think a lot of new traders come into trading assuming that every day is going to be a profitable day. And you see a lot of new traders with a plan, a daily percentage target where they're planning to make 1%, 2% a day without actually taking into consideration that not every day is going to be a winning day. So having those right expectations and patience definitely pays off. So that's really good advice.
Yeah, I mean, even coming into it with a percentage target or any sort of target for yourself, I mean, you really have to let go of that idea of control if you're going to succeed in, an industry like trading.
Mm.
Because in every business, losses are guaranteed, right? That's why, whenever you get like, well, I don't know if this is similar in your country, but here in the US, whenever you get a business loan, they don't expect you to make money for like the first 2 years.
Mm.
And it's perfectly fine. They don't expect it, right? The only cool part about losses in trading is that in trading, these losses are manageable, right? We are directly responsible for every single loss we take on. And that's sometimes a painful thing, but it's a beautiful thing as well because it puts you in position to manage them, and
Yeah.
so you know, that's something that really did help me to like, propel forward, is learning that, okay, it's going to happen. It's just about, okay, how do I manage these things? And then that'll help me to sort of come out on top, later, because it really is just a game of averages.
Yeah. I love that what you mentioned there about the business loan. I'm not sure if you are you on Twitter. There's Sanjeev, his username is Trading in the Now. He's a psychology performance coach. He actually mentioned something similar to me recently, where if you're going to treat trading like a business, you just need to look at losses as the business phase. Like, if you start a business, you have the cost of purchase the property, you buying supplies and stuff. Like you can't just start a business for free. So I love that, looking at taking losses on from a business perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's your P&L is going to look a lot like the market, right? There's those impulses and retracements. It's
Yeah.
going to go up and down. Your P&L is going to look exactly the same. That's why when we check it, what is it? It's a line chart, right? So I mean, I feel like you just got to expect it and you just got to roll with the punches. And I
Yeah.
mean, just understand as long as you're north of 50, you're doing decent.
Yeah,
As long as you're north
exactly.
of 50.
I love that. So, what would be your approach to risk management? What would be your risk management strategy?
My approach to risk management is it's pretty strict. It is a bit more aggressive though than most. Now, I'm not saying that I over risk or I risk any more than like 2% of position or anything like that. It's not like that at all. When I say aggressive, what I mean is that, okay, I'm risking normally less than 1%, but
Yeah.
I'm taking each and every single opportunity to scale that I
Mm,
can identify within the position, right? And that's how I'm aggressive. And so, um, what happens is, I really take advantage of the opportunity to compound.
mm.
Right? It's like what do people call it? The eighth wonder of the world or something. And so, I really do take advantage of that because I realize that with my trading style, I'm not taking a whole lot of positions. So what I'm going to have to do is maximize on every position that I am able to find, right?
Yeah.
Because I know that okay, this might be it for the week.
Yeah.
Right. But then, so how do I put myself in position to maximize on this opportunity if I know that this is the only opportunity I'm going to take to pull the trigger all week, right?
Mm.
Because I mean, the most of your liquidity comes in the latter end of the weeks anyway, right? Your Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And so, I understand that Monday, Tuesday is, it might just be set up. And so I might be sitting on my hands
Yeah.
for well over half the week, right? And so it's just coming to terms with that and understanding that I really do need to maximize each opportunity that does come my way.
Nice. So, would you mostly skip Mondays then? Looking for setups?
Um, I'm not expecting to skip them. It's so weird. I am so hands off when it comes to my approach with the markets because
That's good
I've
though.
I've learned that I've learned that you really do have to flow with it. It's this untamable beast,
Mm.
right? I can't tell myself that I'm going to skip Monday. I can't tell myself I'm going to pull the trigger Wednesday. I can't tell myself anything, right? I
Mm.
have to kind of let this untamable beast tell me, okay, when are you ready to rock?
Yep.
Right? Because I can't hop on your back and say, okay, let's go, right? There's none of that, right? When are you ready to go? And when that beast says, okay, it's time to go, I
Mm.
have to be ready, right? And so I don't necessarily skip Mondays or anything like that. I just kind of show up every day and I say, hey, are you ready? And if structure's there, if confluences are there, I pull the trigger. If not, sitting on my hands and I'll show up tomorrow.
Nice. So, you would be more of a pro trend trader, trading with the trend, I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What time
Yeah.
frame do you use?
So in terms of analysis, top down, we're starting either annual or quarterly,
Mm.
then we're going down to the monthly, then weekly, daily, 12-hour, 4-hour, 1 hour. And then absolute lowest for entry confirmation would be 15 minute.
Okay, cool. Very good. That's really good because I do think a lot of traders spend a lot of time on the lower time frames. And that's a lesson I
Yeah.
heard it's a lesson I learned the hard way in the past as well. Spending too much time on the 1 minute, there's too much indecision, you're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
too sure on trend direction. So I think that's really good to help anyone watching this to spend more time on the higher time frames for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sure.
I'm rarely ever on anything like I'm rarely ever on the 15 minute. I try to stay away from it
Yeah,
as much as possible. It's just to see, okay, do we have necessary structure to pull the trigger and hopefully start moving directly into profit,
yeah,
right? It's just to mitigate as much drawdown as possible.
yeah. Cool. I love that. So what pairs would you mostly focus on?
So my watch list has everything, but I'm only focused on what's trending,
Okay.
right? So if it's not trending on like the quarterly time frame, maybe the monthly, I'm not probably not looking at it. I'm
Yeah.
not going to entertain it. So for example, I've only really been trading EJ lately. Only EJ. Not saying that there aren't any other pairs or assets that are trending right now, right? There probably are, but I only really have been taking transactions on EJ.
Nice. And I think it's a lot easier to focus on multiple pairs whenever you are staying on the higher time frames. Would you
Yeah.
have any advice for those that want to watch multiple pairs at the same time? Like what's your approach? Do you use alerts or
To be honest, so if a pair is trending on like the quarterly time frame, right?
Mhm.
And let's say, look, for example, EJ is quite literally exiting quarterly demand right now, right? We're exiting quarterly demand. We're exiting monthly demand as well. We have, gosh, I'm thinking about it right now. We have bullish structure on the weekly time frame, I believe, right? And so seeing that we're currently uptrend on the quarterly, uptrend on the monthly, bullish structure just occurred within the past 2 weeks on the weekly time frame. We know that for the next week, at least month, for a fair amount of time, and at most for the next quarter, we're bullish on this pair,
Yeah.
right? And so
Hmm.
with that being said, if my bias is set on an asset for such a long period of time and I'm successfully scaling into it on the 4 hour and 12-hour time frames, taking demand setups on those time frames, what that tells me is that okay, I'm just waking up and looking for the next bullish opportunity every single day. And so I don't really need to set alerts or do anything like that because my bias for this asset is so set for the next like month or quarter. I don't need I don't even need to entertain anything else.
Yeah.
I just need to wake up and know that okay, this is my higher time frame bias and just scale into it every single day.
Mhm.
And that's what I've done. That's how I've been able to sort of knock out the like the phases and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I've been able to confidently exceed the 6% margin and all that stuff, right? Is because I know that okay, my bias is set for like the next quarter. So I'm just gonna keep scaling and cashing in for the whole quarter, just building that buffer on my account and taking full advantage of whatever risk and margin I have.
Nice. So on average, how long would you hold the trade for if you're focusing more on the higher time frames?
Whenever a structure tells me to get out.
Nice.
So we know that whenever we're tracing let's say you're using the path tool on TradingView and you're just tracing higher highs and higher lows
Mm.
um, with the path tool, you know that until, until for price to reverse, we need to either reject the high and then break the previous low, or we're just going to continue and exceed the previous high, right?
Yeah.
So either way, in both of those scenarios, we know that the previous high at the very least is going to be met
Mm.
because we know for an uptrend to continue, the previous high is either broken or tested, right? And then rejected, and then possibly we break structure to the downside, and now we're in a downtrend, right?
Yeah.
And so knowing this, I know that on the weekly or monthly time frame, my target is just the previous high because we've been constantly week after week, quarter after quarter, testing and or breaking the previous high because it's just the nature of an uptrend. It's
Yeah.
impulse retracement.
Nice. I'm guessing your strategy supply and demand. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's sort of like how there's the order of operations in mathematics.
No,
Kind of
actually, can
apply
you
the same
explain that?
similar concept. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the basics in the order of operations of math, it's the rules that tell us the sequence in which we should solve an expression with multiple operations, right? PEMDAS, that please excuse my dear Aunt Sally that we might have learned in school.
Hmm.
It tells us exactly how to approach equations or how to approach any, formula or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so I utilize a similar structure in trading. In trading, I give myself an order of operations, what to look for whenever I approach any market,
Mm.
anything that comes with a chart, right? I give myself that same order of operations to apply to any asset, so that way nothing that I do anytime I'm ever opening up TradingView is random,
Yeah.
because a big part of what sort of hinders a lot of people's success is that they're approaching the market so randomly
Mm.
with no order of operations, with no order or organization at all. They just kind of look at a chart and they're just going time frame to time frame, wondering, is it does it look like it's going up or does it look like it's going down? And they kind of just guess from there and they become part of that 95%,
Mm.
you know? And so a big part of not becoming part of that 95% of people who fail um, is just by getting organized.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, because a lot of traders focus on or sorry, a lot of traders use their emotions to make decisions. And I actually was given a task by Sanjeev to journal my emotions every morning, and I've done it ever since. This was about half a year ago. And when I go through my journal, I can see one day I'm really happy, I'm really like joyful, grateful. The next day it's, oh, it's the end of the world. And you can see very clearly if you journal your emotions consistently every day, how inconsistent they are. So to come onto the chart and depend on your emotions to make decisions, that's what leads to inconsistent results. So I love that operations, like having some sort of confirmation checklist, having a system in place. I think it's really important rather than just
Yeah,
guessing all the
and
time.
to not be too surface level, because I know a lot of people, they might watch this and say, oh, he just said what every other trader says. Be organized, work hard, all these like surface level,
But it works.
advices. Well, no, but I'll give people actual, practical value.
Yeah.
Um, so the order in which you do in which I do things is I identify trend on, the quarterly time frame, weekly
Hmm.
or the monthly time frame and the weekly time frame. After identifying trend, I would also identify any supply and demands on, these higher time frames because I want to know from a macro perspective, like where is the majority of the volume being pushed? Is it being pushed
Mm.
up or down? Right? Because if you can see this on a higher time frame scale, what that tells you is okay, the lower time frames will more than likely domino effect, sort of slowly but surely fall in line with the higher time frame narrative or perspective, right? So if I'm bullish trend wise, exiting demand on, the quarterly, monthly, weekly, I'm looking for bullish market structure on the daily 12-hour, 4-hour, right?
Nice.
And so I understand that. Now, what happens and where things get a little interesting is as you get down in time frames, we start to get into a concept where I like to call the mailman, right? The mailman, what do mailmen do? They pick up packages and deliver them, right?
Mm.
And so the mailman is the market. The packages are liquidity, right? Liquidity being what? Oftentimes represented as consolidation in the markets. And so on these lower time frames, we begin to see consolidation form because these consolidations are packages for the mailman to pick up. So in an uptrend, if you see consolidation form, you're looking for the market to eventually what take the lows of that consolidation
Mm.
because the equal lows that that consolidation forms oftentimes are liquidity or packages for the mailman to come down and pick up and then go back up and deliver to whatever address, right? Or in this case, the house is the highs. And
Yep.
so you start to get into concepts like that when you're scaling down in lower time frames, but it's just understanding when it's time to plug and play these concepts, that order of operations that I was touching on is what's so valuable, just being organized and understanding when these concepts become relevant.
I love that. I love that meal man. That's so good. Yeah, because whenever you sit down and analyze price action, it's very clear that price is just going from one liquidity sweep to the next, one to the next. So it's just a really nice way to put that into perspective. So which tools or platforms do you think are most valuable in like your day-to-day trading routine?
It doesn't take much. Doesn't take
Yeah.
much. TradingView, whether it's on your phone, laptop, tablet, whatever, and competence. That's about it. That's all you need. TradingView and competence. And then after that, maybe just a little bit of money,
Yeah.
which thankfully ThinkCapital gives people the opportunity to get their hands on. And so I think that's it. That's all people need. You don't really need anything fancy.
Yeah. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people assume that you need 10 monitors, crazy, crazy setups to be
Yeah.
successful, but you really don't. You can do it from your phone. As long as you have a
Yeah.
screen, like you're good to go.
Yeah.
So what's your approach to backtesting? Would you be a backtesting person or would you forward test more?
I guess what I do is called backtesting.
Yeah.
I never really did put much thought into it. I always wondered what is forward testing, to be honest, as funny
I feel like it's a
as
form of backtesting. It just takes a lot longer, like where you're analyzing the market, it just takes a lot
yeah,
longer to
yeah,
play
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually never tried forward testing before. I've never, um, it's funny as competent as I sound, I don't even understand what forward testing is. I've always just kind of looked at TradingView, known what the setup is that I look for every day, and I look for that setup in TradingView, and I get used to identifying it with my eyes, and then over
Yeah.
time, just became muscle memory. So I think that's called back testing, but from sports. previously for me, I was always used to reading plays. Like we had a playbook and you would read the plays and
Yeah.
stuff. And so pattern recognition came naturally to me. So
Mm.
I never really did put much thought into if the technical term for it was forward testing or back testing, because
Yeah.
to me it was almost just like just recognizing patterns, you know.
Yeah. And how important do you think back testing is?
Practice,
Yeah.
practice, practice, practice,
Because a lot of people
practice,
don't
please
back
practice.
test. A lot of people
Yeah, and
don't.
that's why you're broke because you don't practice. You know what I mean? Like that's why you're not succeeding is because you don't practice. That's why you're failing. That's why you're on your 80th challenge is because you're not practicing properly, right? You can
Mm,
practice, but if you're not practicing properly, you're just wasting your time. And the reason I say that so raw and so insensitively is because that's the raw reality and truth that people are facing if they don't take the proper steps. I'm not going to
yeah.
sugarcoat it and say that it's going to be okay and that
Yeah.
you'll figure it out. Like, no, you might never figure it out, and you might go 10 years never have ever passing a challenge thinking trading's a scam because you never had your turn at success.
Yeah. Yeah. Because whenever
You know?
if a trader approaches a challenge without actually having a back tested strategy, there's going to be a lack of confidence in the strategy. It's a lot easier for your emotions to take over your trading decisions because you don't actually have a proven system in place. Like it's all good and well having a trading plan and a set of rules, but if you don't have the belief that it actually works over a long span of trades, you're not going to stick to it. So yeah, back test for everyone who's watching this.
Yeah, practice.
So do you feel comfortable sharing your screen and talking us through just really briefly your approach to the charts?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, cool.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds good.
The reason I'm using this one is because my actual position's on this one, but on this one I can do whatever and it doesn't affect my market. So what I meant by that is I start on the quarterly time frame.
Mhm.
Even if I were to go out of full screen mode and you were looking at my favorites, right? You can see that exactly what I said is what I meant, right? You see the quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, 12-hour, 4-hour, or 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute.
Mm,
And so on your more macro time frames, I'm more so focused on immediate structure, right? And so what I mean by that is whatever the most recent leg is, because really everything back here isn't as relevant anymore, right?
mm,
And so I'm focusing on just the most recent leg because that's telling me what the immediate trend is for the asset. In this case, EJ. And so what we can see is that we're clearly in an uptrend. Very simple, right? Just higher highs and higher lows. Now, what I also see is that we have a confident bullish leg here, being that it's two strong bullish candles. And then, our previous candle here. So I count this personally as a decent demand zone.
mm,
And so I would illustrate it like that. I go down to the monthly and I do the exact same thing. And forgive me, oh my God. I have like allergies. The season change in the US right now is like, it's really kicking my butt. And so I've been like sniffling and all this stuff lately. But so I have an uptrend here on the monthly as well, right? We see it's very, clear, higher highs, higher lows, just clear as day, right?
mhm,
And so we see that. And then I also see a bullish leg here, a series of undisturbed bullish candles, right? No bearish candles in between. And then I see the bullish candle previous, or the bearish candle, sorry, forgive me, the bearish candle previous. And so for me, a monthly demand zone. And so I'm conscious of both of these things. I'm conscious of the quarterly demand zone and I'm conscious of the monthly demand zone. And so what this tells me is that as I scale down in my time frames, I'll be looking for bullish structure exiting these demand zones. And that's what I've been doing for quite literally the past month or past 2 months on this asset has been just trading out of the demand zone. And so from the monthly, I go down the weekly. And so we know that, you know, bullish market structure is what? Higher highs and higher lows, right? A break of bearish structure into bullish structure would be represented by what? So if we have lower highs, lower lows, a break of structure to the upside would be a break of this high, retest, continuation. The break of this high itself, the break itself is the break of structure. The break of this high is the break of structure, right? And so I know that I'm looking for this on the weekly time frame in order to say that, okay, we're ready to go ahead and exit these demand zones. And so what I saw right here was exactly what I was looking for. I saw a low, lower low. We broke this high, and then we already had our retest. And some people might ask, okay, why did we already have our retest? Well, the reason we already had our retest is because, we have a significant bullish candle here, followed by, a relatively weak bullish candle, but significant bullish candle there, and a bearish candle here. And so for me, I'm like, okay, bet this is a weekly demand zone. Is it beautiful? Is it as I would always want it to be, this nice, confident leg out? No, but it is a leg out in a bearish candle. So I'm like, okay, cool. We have a nice weekly demand zone here because this is a very strong bullish candle in the previous week.
Yep.
And so knowing that I'm in a weekly demand zone, scale down to the daily, look for bullish structure again. And I just do the same thing over and over and over on lower time frames. And so here it was very slight. It snuck up on me, to be honest. And I really wanted to count this as consolidation because it was sort of just between this range here.
Mm-hmm.
But it did technically form. And so because I had to kind of stretch it out real quick and really zoom in and look at it. And what did I get here? A low, lower low. We broke the high by all but a couple of pips, right? But we broke the high and then a retest. And so I was like, okay, this is technically bullish structure after forming bullish structure on the weekly. And so I'm like, okay, this could be my go-ahead ticket up. And so what I did was I scaled down to the 12-hour, confirmed what I saw, which we see here a bit more clearly. And what I also love the fact is that we're in a 12-hour demand zone. And so seeing this, I'm like, okay, cool. And we're about to see the mailman here in a second. Inducement, right? This is going to be where our mailman is. We're going to see the mailman on the 1 hour time frame. But what I saw was that the mailman picked up our packages here. We're going to see it here in a second. And then we had demand right here sitting just below our packages, which is really what we wanted. Nice bullish leg out, demand zone here, being the bearish candle wick to wick, drag it out, right? And so now where's our mailman, right? Let's go ahead and see the mailman right here. Packages to pick up right here. The consolidation, the equal lows and equal highs. So we see this range form right here. And I know that these equal lows in a bullish move, that's money. This is the packages that the mailman needs to pick up and then deliver on home to the previous high, right? And so I saw that the mailman picked up the packages just like I wanted. And so I was like, okay, cool. All I need is that ticket out being bullish structure, which formed right here, which gave me my entry opportunities. And so if we switch, there it is.
Nice. I love that. That's so valuable for anyone who hasn't done top-down analysis across, multi-time frames. Really, really valuable to start with those higher time frames there. You can just tell how confident you are with the lower time frames because you've started on the higher ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
And
love that.
so as you scale down to lower time frames, it's all just re-entries and scaling in on your way up.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. So I'm guessing you don't use indicators then?
No,
What's your view on indicators?
I mean, everyone, hey man, I respect
I've
everyone's
trapped
approach.
you.
Yeah, yeah,
Trick
it's
question.
just like it's everyone has their own thing, man. And if that's your thing, do your thing. As long as
Yeah,
who if we're in a room full of profitable traders, right? Who's going to care how they made their money? Everyone's
yeah,
just going to say, "Wow, we all made it here and we all made money." And that's all that's going to matter. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly.
I'm not going to judge it the way anyone got their bag, you know?
Did you start your journey using indicators?
Hmm. That's why I was lost for so long.
Mm. No, I'm the
I
same.
kept thinking the indicator, yeah, I kept thinking the indicator had like the key or the secret
Mm,
to all my problems, you know?
yeah,
But it really was just my analysis.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so what is your biggest piece of advice for staying disciplined whenever you're trading?
It's a lot easier when you have something you're trading for,
Mm,
right? When you have a purpose, some sort of motivation, whether it's family, friends, loved ones, whatever. Um, if not, if it's just the stuff, then just look at your bank account and ask yourself, can you afford that stuff yet? You
nice.
know, and then
So,
if the answer is no, ask yourself why, and why do you keep making the same mistakes to keep yourself in the position to not be able to afford that stuff, you know, and don't fear the investment necessary to succeed. Like I invested in my mentors.
mm,
It costs money, straight up. This is a money industry. It takes money to make money. That's just the reality of it. You're not handing out these funded accounts, right? They're behind a paywall, right? Nothing's free. People who are just waiting for the next giveaway to finally start their funded journey, hustle, get some bread, maybe just go ahead and buy it because maybe
yeah,
you'll take it so much more seriously because it you put some skin in the game. It made your pockets hurt a little bit, right? And so don't shy away from the investment necessary to get the information you need or the opportunity you need. If it's not free, it's for a reason.
yeah.
You know, I mean, it's called overhead.
Yeah, I completely agree. Say, why spend 5 years learning from your failures when you can learn from someone who's already done that and you can learn it in half the time?
Yeah, exactly. Like I paid thousands upon that. It was uncomfortable. It was wildly uncomfortable. I remember I got scammed by the whole Miami crew, whatever that whole thing happened. Like, you know, I put my skin in the game. You know, it was
Yeah,
massively uncomfortable, but you know, it got me to the level of competence that I'm at today, and I'm very grateful for it. And I've definitely you know, made back my losses.
yeah,
I'm thankful for that. So I'd say for anyone, don't shy away from it. Just embrace it.
yeah, for sure. Completely agree. So, how would you say that your trading approach has changed over time? You've mentioned that you used to use indicators, you no longer do. Is there any other things that have changed? Did you used to spend a lot of time in the lower time frames? Has this always been the higher time
Yeah,
frames?
oh my goodness, yes. Yes, I used to be like a part of that 1 minute time frame sniper gang. I used to think I used to think that was me. Oh man, I lost so much money on the 1 minute time frame. Gosh, yes. Just lower time frame stuff.
Mm,
Um, just trying to do the whole money in minutes, scalp news events, all that's like I've been there, done that.
yeah,
If there's a trading strategy out there, I probably tried it at some point. Like
mm,
I have seen every nook and cranny of not every nook and cranny. I want to see every nook and cranny of this industry. I want to eventually like, you know, maybe get to like the quant level or actually
yeah,
work, you know, at a firm or something. Like that's what I aspire to do. That's why I dedicate so much time to mastering the skill. Is to be ready for those opportunities, you know, if they ever come.
yeah,
But you know, in terms of just the learning side of things, I've seen every single nook and cranny of the education space. And yeah, it's just a lot of lower time frame nonsense is where I started.
yeah. It's also important for anyone watching to understand that the first strategy you start to trade with is probably not going to be the one you become profitable with. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
guessing
yeah.
that you strategy hopped a lot at the start too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The lower time frames did give me good market exposure, just kind of
Mm,
getting used to the rate that the market can move in, right? So now those larger impulses or retracements don't necessarily scare me as much because I've
yeah,
seen violent impulses and retracements occur on like the 1 minute time frame
yeah,
for years, right? And so being so used to that now, it's just like stuff here doesn't phase me. But
yeah,
But yeah, I would definitely say I would agree with that, that you're probably where you start's definitely not going to be where you finish.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
So, how has your experience been with ThinkCapital so far? How long have you been trading with us, and what has been your experience?
Not long. I'm just kind of trying things out. I was just trying the firm out,
Yeah,
but it's been fantastic. I was given my live account in a timely manner, or not live, sorry, my funded account,
yeah,
my funded account in a timely manner. I was, um, the payout process was smooth, and then it's funny, I actually canceled it to, to go ahead and actually just build myself more of a buffer on my
yeah.
account. But when I did request it, it was smooth. Um, and I mean, so far customer service is really good. I feel like that's a really important aspect of standing out as a firm is having that really solid customer service because that's people's number one concern is if I do have
Mm.
concern because you got to understand it's people's money, right?
Yeah.
And so their number one concern is understanding, okay, is my money in a secure, safe place, right? Or am I investing in something or in a company that's going to be there for me? And
Mm.
so, seeing that you guys have an excellent service team has really given me peace of mind. So now I'm just focused on just building my relationship with you guys. I'm trying to show myself as much as possible as a person who can be of value. You know what I mean? Um, just so that way, if new opportunities ever do arise, I can just, always be ready to take advantage of them and step in and actually, make some money for,
Yeah.
myself and the firm. That's the idea going forward is I just want to continue to grow as much as possible within this industry.
Nice. I love that. I think this call's been so valuable. Even I've learned a few things. It's been
Thanks, I
really,
appreciate it.
really good. Yeah, so keep doing what you're doing. But so what is the plan for the next 3 to 5 years? Like, what are your trading goals? Are you hoping to be like, are you trading full time right now, or is that a aspiration of yours, or what's the plan?
Yeah, so I've done the whole full-time trading thing.
It's not all it's
And
cut out to be, is it?
no, yeah,
No.
not at all. Not at all. Aspiring as of right now is like every trader I know is some sort of entrepreneur. They have some sort of second business, or,
Yeah.
every single wealthy trader, I should say, I know is some sort of entrepreneur. They have some sort of second business. But for me, I really do just love the game.
Mm,
I love the game. I love the game so much. Like trading is such a beautiful, um, it's like an art to me. I love it.
mm,
And so I really, it's what makes me wake up and smile every day. Um, Genuinely, I love the fact that I can excel at it. It's what you get, what you give is what you get.
mm,
I really do love the fairness of it.
yeah.
And so, I just want to grow as much as possible within this industry. Like, I don't know what's next. I don't come from a wealthy family or, a family with connections. So I don't really have any sort of connections within like the finance space or anything like that. I just have the skill right now. It's just raw skill. And so for me, what's next is, networking, trying to meet as many valuable people as possible within the space and seeing where my next opportunity comes from and just making sure that when it does come, I'm ready for it. Um,
Nice.
I have, people DM me sometimes and stuff like that. I've helped people out, not like some like, famous online mentor or something. I'm not like that, but people have DM me asking for advice and stuff. I've helped people and stuff like that before. But as of right now, I just want to be prepared for whatever opportunity comes my way within this space. That's my
Nice.
primary focus and just try to whatever happens the next 5 years is going to be a roller coaster, and just hopefully
Yeah.
it's a good one.
I love that. I really do.
Yeah.
So, what piece of advice would you give to aspiring traders? What's the main takeaway?
Go hard. Just dive in.
But not too hard
Don't shy away.
on leverage.
Yeah, not too hard on leverage. Yeah. Yeah, not on leverage. But when it comes to just learning, mastering the space, be patient with yourself. Be patient, but be aggressive.
Mm,
Be patient, but be aggressive. Be aggressive in your pursuit for knowledge, but be patient with yourself and the rate that you grow, right? Just have that calculated aggression. Be patient, but be aggressive. I feel like if you can do that, um, you leave yourself open to as much growth as possible for you, and it's this beautiful thing when you can see yourself flourish. So I'd say just be open to that, be patient, Be aggressive in your pursuit for knowledge and don't fear any investment. Understand that especially if you're young, you have so much opportunity to fail right now. And that's probably the most valuable opportunity you do have
Mm.
is the opportunity to gracefully make mistakes and it not have to cost too much.
Yeah.
Right. And so I just think that if you take that approach, you should be in for a pretty good life.
Nice. I love that. I feel like you are someone who reads a lot of personal development or mindset books. I'm just getting the vibe from that. So do you have any recommendations? Am I right?
No, believe it or not, I
No way,
um
seriously.
no, so I love
Do you
I it's
audiobooks?
yeah.
Okay,
So I
got
would
you.
say the biggest, most inspirational person, thing, just everything in my life. Um, and this is gonna sound so stereotypical, but it's true. And forgive me, I don't want to offend at all, but God.
Mm,
You know what I mean, Jesus, like imagine viewing yourself as limitless. Like, isn't that crazy? Imagine thinking that you are capable of anything. Like that is insane.
yeah.
And as cliche as that sounds, like how many people truly do have that level of confidence in themselves
Yeah.
that they can do anything? How many people wake up every day knowing that no matter what happens, they're going to make it home, everything's going to be okay, and life's just going to get better,
Mm,
right? Very few people actually live life like that because everyone has adversities happening, but then what happens is their adversities begin to define them, and begin to become their walk, their talk, their approach, their presentation
mm,
becomes their adversities, right? And so for me, it's just taking it so seriously that that God is on my side, and with that I can do anything, and actually living that, believing that, and truly like understanding that, it just has always made me super confident, and it's given me a very refined approach and a very profound understanding of just life in general because I've never had a fear of anything other than God. So like it's like if you're not God, if you're mortal, if you're a thing or a person or whatever, I would never fear you or it or them or whatever because they're not God.
yeah.
And so being able to just kind of walk with absolutely no fear has always given me the ability to appear a bit more wise, but it's just because I don't fear anything.
So choose faith over fear. I actually wrote a tweet about that today, which is really nice.
Yeah. Faith over fear, 100%. You got
Yeah,
to live it.
cool. Amazing. So I think that's us. That's all the questions I have. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, just be great. Let's do it. On to the next
Yeah,
trade.
yeah, cool. Well, hopefully we'll see you on here really soon and we can do a follow-up
Yeah.
interview. That would be good. If you're up for
Yeah, that'll
that.
be cool. Yeah, for
Cool.
sure, for sure.
Okay, well, it was so nice to meet you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and we will catch up real soon.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Nice to meet you too, Claudia. See ya.
Have a good day. Bye.
All right, bye.